unlike the ending of Chapter 88 for 100 Years Quest, Chapter 89 does give a little bit of general kind of like an area to work with when it comes to the next chapter. Because when 89 ended, it was like right after they destroyed Altaface, and there was nothing like teasing about like the next set of pieces in the story, which actually could have easily been interpreted as like, okay, well, it looks like this arc piece is gonna end, but I'm still perfectly okay with that because of the fact that it was set up in a way that it meant Celine was gonna have more of a role in the story than just being an Elentier. So for me as a Celine fan, very happy about that. But we still don't know where she went. Wherever Celine ended up, escaping to, and wherever Suzaku went following, there's, at least to me, I believe that there's got to be one of three real options. I mean, there could be literally anything. Obviously, like if it's this much left in the dark, it could be anything whatsoever. There could be another dimension we don't know about. But I think that there's going to be three options, really, that she's going to end up kind of like heading towards. This one is one of the ones, obviously, I'm picking. One is going to Ignia. But it's like the same thing if she goes to the second one, which is Viernes. Like, if she ends up hopping over to wherever their territory's at, I feel like it would make sense for her character to go somewhere where Suzaku would pretty much be like, no chance. Obviously, Suzaku wouldn't be able to do anything in his current state against any of the other dragon gods, and someone like Ignia, I don't think he would get caught in an attack that like Suzaku got with Celine, because like we know Celine wasn't at her full, like she wasn't putting out her full effort. She wasn't even in her dragon form, but she did end up getting caught into something. And that was her fault. But if she's gone somewhere like this, like to one of the two to recover, that would to me would be like, yeah, she's going somewhere. Like maybe she's got like a favor for one of the other dragon gods, and she's like, hey, I'm ready to cash in. I just need you to kind of shoo off this dude. And then, the only thing that would like come to mind that she would want to prevent like not doing that, going somewhere safe like that, would be either, I guess like just the idea of like if Ignia wanted to finish her off just to get her out of the way. We don't know anything about Viernes, but something like that, or just another dragon god seeing her in that state. The third one, which I feel like is at just as likely, if not more likely, is if she goes to see her sons, because with Kuranugi being eaten, like she's gonna want to see the status of the other dragons, of her offspring. Like that would just make sense to me, probably the most of anything else, because unlike the other dragon gods, I would assume that none of her offspring would like be like, oh, this is my opportunity to kill her or do something. It's like, no, I feel like any of them would be like ready to keep her safe and protect her and stuff. And one thing about that I would prefer it, like seeing her go to Ignia and Viernes would be really interesting. But one of the things I would much prefer over the idea of that would be going to her offspring, because with Celine being a female dragon and a mother, it's one of those things with dragons where, like in fiction, when you have specifically like a very powerful female dragon, you also have to fight her brood. Like any of her offspring are a potential contender just to get to her. Like, just think of it, not the same thing, but it's like when you have like some form of like bug-like creature, like anything that's gonna have its offspring as a way of protecting the the head of essentially their, not group, but you can kind of go like a dragon horde, or a brood, or whatever it could be. It's like you have the person at the top instead of like she's still the alpha, but also she is the mother of them. And dragons are intelligent, and we know that the females are the ones that raised their young. So it would make a lot of sense of why they would want to protect Celine. I mean, it would be a little bit odd if they didn't. I don't know what Mishima would be doing if it wasn't the case. I mean, there could be a fourth option of literally just anything. I guess that's the fourth option. Going pretty much anywhere else. Maybe she's going to some special location. Or there's a healing place we don't know about. Like, there's a big myriad of areas that she could head towards. I would say the most likely one would be going to her, going to any of her offspring. Because like the thing with Kuranugi being eaten, it would make sense a lot if she wanted to touch base with them, just kind of figure out like how they're doing, which ones are still alive, and I would imagine any of them would be quick to like ward off Suzaku if that was the case. And plus, like, if it's another dragon god, like, they could easily just squish Suzaku like it's nothing. Whereas, like, if one of her offspring is just like regular dragon level, Suzaku in his weakened state, like, maybe he can't win, but it wouldn't be like he gets blitzed and one-shot killed. You know, if you put like a random dragon, like something like Zirconis level, it would just be like, oh, well, maybe he can still just get away because like that dragon is so much weaker than where he actually sits. It's able to almost balance out his weakened and like magicless, like tired state. So definitely, like, when it comes to the next chapter, I really am hoping we can find out something about Celine. Like, an aspect of the transition chapters before we, like, going with one arc or the other that will make me very happy if Mishima keeps it up is similar to, like, after the Versphobia arc and after the Alderaan arc. We ended up getting a little bit of the other Dragon Gods, a little bit of where, like large-scale story pieces are being set and directed before we got into the kind of more either silly or slice-of-life chapters. Like, it was, like, before we got the stuff with Fairy Nail and whatnot, we got to see, like, Georg, and we saw, like, Diablos's, guild hall. We got to find out the information on the other Dragon Gods, like their names and their attributes. After the fight with Alderaan, we ended up, like, seeing Suzaku, and we saw more about Georg and stuff with Eleftherion and whatnot. So I'm hoping we get something like that in the next chapter. But obviously, to me, and I think to a lot of people, the biggest thing is, like, where did Celine and Suzaku go? Like, everybody really wants to know where that is. So if we can just get that, I'd be perfectly fine with getting some, like, slice-of-life kind of fun chapters. I just want, like, the only thing I would really want to know would be, like, the idea of where Celine's going. It wouldn't even have to be, like, a full set, like, we see one of her sons or whatever. It would just be the, just the wording of it. Like, if Suzaku said something and then Celine's like, oh, well, I took us to where one of my other sons are, and you just see, like, a dragon. And that's it. That could literally be it. We don't get the dragon's name. We don't find out anything else beyond that. Something like that would be more than satisfactory, at least for me, to hold out until we get to, like, the rest of it. As long as we get an idea of Celine's direction, I'll be happy. But anyway, other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video, but friend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.